Good to see you from wherever you are watching us this morning. Another busy day in the streets of Lagos. Feels good to be here. I'm Yemi Adebayo.
And I'm Cecilia Omogbi, and this morning we're starting with the news that is coming from the Spanish La Liga. Real Madrid, they've been crowned champions for the 34th time.
Wow, very impressive. Even in January, the most optimistic Real Madrid fan would not have said that Real Madrid would win the La Liga, but here they are celebrating the 34th La Liga title. A very good way to end the season for the Los Blancos. All right, let's move on the show and talk about what to expect this weekend in England. Talking about the, oldest competition in the world and the most prestigious competition, so they call it in England, the FA Cup. This weekend, of course, is a tale of London against Manchester. Manchester United, of course, will be slugging it out with Chelsea, and Manchester City will be up against Arsenal. Promises to be exciting.
Yeah, that's a big one in England this weekend at Wembley. Also on the program, we'll go to Hungary. What is happening there? The Hungarian Grand Prix taking place this weekend. And Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, and of course, Max Verstappen, all of them are talking this morning, and including Sebastian Vettel, who, everyone has been saying is like he's gotten a new team, but then we're still waiting for confirmation.
All right, so that's how we start the show this morning with Formula One and talk about the Hungarian Grand Prix and, of course, what's happening with the drivers. They've shifted focus from the double header that they had, and now it's Hungary, and we're expecting a lot from them. The top drivers, all focus on doing well here.
All of them, they're all focused because the rumors around is the fact that most of the drivers want to change at the end of the season and moving to another team.
All right,
Obviously.
So all of them, from Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton, all having different things to say. But one thing that it feels a little different because sometimes there are some drivers you want to listen to, but now it seems there's something new coming from everybody, not just about the events that they're participating in. When we started, you talked about some people already say there's going to be a tsunami. A lot of people are going to move in different directions. Yeah. You never can tell. And we'll see what happens. You were even telling me about the rumors about some saying Hamilton had already signed. Nobody has confirmed that.
I think it's just, maybe it's a trick from the team because
to push him in the right direction.
On their hand and say, okay, he signs or something. Signs was like you saw Hamilton actually signing something on his cap, signing on his cap.
I think it's a teaser.
He signs is like,
I think it's a
has
teaser.
He signed or are they just, pulling legs and all that? But then there's nothing about it. Just said, he has signed. But at the end of the day, you're still waiting. And for Valtteri Bottas, the news is he has agreed a deal in principle, so he's likely to remain at Mercedes next season. And I think Lewis Hamilton will sign because. Is he going to go to Ferrari?
I don't know.
We don't know, but I think he's going to sign. That's why the constructor company had to put up that tweet. Let's see. And for Sebastian Vettel, his own has been like almost everywhere, and the fact that he's also moving to Aston Martin, and you're asking yourself, oh, okay. But we just wait for confirmation of everything.
For Vettel, I can understand.
Yeah.
They've put the rug under him at Ferrari.
Yeah.
He has only this season, so he has to make a decision. He doesn't appear like somebody who wants to say bye-bye to the sport. So definitely he's going to move to a team. Now, the team that he wants to move to is what we do not know. Some teams have come out point blank to tell him, there's no space for you here.
Yeah.
So, but the one now that everybody is talking about is yet to deny or confirm.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll wait and see. Fingers crossed. Yeah, how they're going to reach us this morning. You can talk to us on Twitter.
Yep.
And on Twitter, basically, and also you can send us your email. And today, we know Real Madrid last night won the La Liga title, and that's more like the talking point here. And I remember some time ago when we have a guest in the studio, a reporter with La Liga TV, Bruno, when he says that Real Madrid were going to win the title, and we're like, how is that even possible and everything? Because, of course, Barcelona had the upper hand going,
at that point,
going before COVID happened, and then Before you know it, Real Madrid just took advantage of it
Yeah.
and they were able to win it. So
Get across to us. I'm very sure the notification will pop up on screen. Send us a mail or get across to us on Twitter. We're very active on Twitter. Let us know how you feel about all of the issues we've talked about. There you have it. @Nance_sports is how you can reach us this morning. Let us know. Let's talk about La Liga. Let's talk about golf. Let's talk about Formula One. Let's talk about MotoGP. Let's talk about the English Premier League, the FA Cup over the weekend, and a lot of interesting things in your amazing world of sports. And also, you can send us a mail. We'll do our best to read your messages and take some reactions as well to some of those things that you talked about. All right, so that's how you can be a part of this show this morning. All right, so let's move on the show. Cecilia has let the cat out of the bag, so let's just go straight to Barcelona in Spain and link up with our friend Bruno Begarache. Of course, he works with La Liga TV. Bruno, it's good to have you join us this morning.
Hi guys, it's a pleasure to see you guys again and speak to you again.
All right. Before we talk about what happened last night, let's just quickly give our viewers the results in case by any chance they missed it. In case, I doubt it though, but in case by any chance they missed it, let's really take a look at the results that confirmed Real Madrid as the champions of La Liga. There you have it. Real Madrid beating Villarreal 2-1. Barcelona, in spite of some good work from Lionel Messi, they lost to Osasuna, a goal to 2. Getafe lost at home to Atletico Madrid. Valencia squeezed past Espanyol 1-0. Those are the results for the matches played in the Spanish La Liga. All right, Bruno, let's come to you. And, you had correctly predicted that Real Madrid was going to win this title, but I still have to ask you, are you surprised?
Obviously, I didn't have any special insight or anything when I said Real Madrid would win the title. Surprised, obviously Barcelona had the lead and it was in their hands and it was they who had to lose it. But, all season long, there have been signs at Football Club Barcelona that they've just been painting over some significant cracks. It's a team it's got serious problems. It's got massive flaws and they need to address them if they don't want to fall further behind. And you always feel that if Messi's not on his day, the rest of the team just isn't there right now. And there are good players there, but for some reason it's just not clicking. And Real Madrid, well, they've been efficient. I don't think they've been brilliant either. I don't think they're a wonderful team, but they're efficient. They get the job done, and that's the difference between them and Football Club Barcelona. So I am surprised maybe that Barcelona have been a little bit worse than I expected, but I haven't been surprised that Real Madrid have got the job done so efficiently as they have done.
Now, let's talk about the significance of what Zinedine Zidane has done. Now, since the restart, 10 games out of 10, he won all of them. And the fact that they were never behind all through. I mean, this title that he won is in the second coming, his second title, the first one 2017 and the second one this year. How significant is this for Zinedine Zidane? Because some people have actually been questioning his coaching prowess, so to speak, thinking he has a big team. That's why he's winning.
Yeah, they've always questioned him. They've always said he's not really a manager. He's just the person that feels the players and that's it. But it's a very important part of managing superstars like Real Madrid and Football Club Barcelona is making sure that you've got a dressing room where that there's harmony. Because there's such big egos, such big personalities. You've got to make sure they're on your side and they're playing for you. And that's what we see at Barcelona. You see that Quique Setién doesn't seem to have the dressing room. The players, when there were these cooling breaks, he would go out and talk to them and they would either not listen or they'd be like a couple of yards away. And you can see there's not that harmony at Barcelona. Real Madrid, what Zinedine has done, what Zidane has done, and maybe that's his biggest asset, is ensuring that all players are on board with him. He's got absolutely everyone. There's a squad there, 16, 17 players who are coming in and out, and they're all giving absolutely 100% for him. There are no long faces when players are left on the bench, perhaps with the exception of Gareth Bale, but that's a whole different topic. But he's done a tremendous job, and you can't question a manager and say he's a bad manager when he's winning Champions League title after Champions League title. He's winning La Liga. He's getting results done. So the results are there for everyone to see.
All right, let me. I still want to talk about Zinedine Zidane. Do you think with this now, people will start mentioning him in the same breath like Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp. Because in spite of the fact that he's won, like Cecilia said, in spite of the fact that he's won, people will have their opinions about, oh, he won when Barcelona was weak, or he won against a disjointed, some of those issues. But you think now that he has won again, that people will now begin to mention him, at the same level they mention Pep and Jurgen Klopp?
I don't think they will, to be honest. It is true that Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp have, in their own way, kind of revolutionized football. They've brought something completely different tactics-wise. We saw something completely different when that Football Club Barcelona side under Guardiola, and he's always innovating. He's always looking for new ways of approaching the game, and Jurgen Klopp as well. He's found that perfect blend as well of quick counter-attacking football. I don't think Zidane delves that much into the tactics as those two managers. I don't think that in that sense he puts as much work into the tactical side of things. I think he's more of a man manager, more of a, as I said before, someone that has camaraderie within the dressing room, which, as I say again, that is also almost as important a factor as the other. Can we talk about them in the same sort of level of management? I think if we're looking at titles, yes, we would have to put Zidane up there with Klopp and Guardiola. But I don't think it's something that people generally are going to talk about. Managers who have marked an era. I'm not too sure whether people will throw Zinedine Zidane in there.
Yeah, what you're saying is it simply means if Zinedine Zidane should leave Real Madrid, for instance, to other clubs, he may not succeed.
I would like to see that. It's a good question. It's Real Madrid is a club he's comfortable at. It's somewhere that he played. It's a city that he knows well. It's a club that he understands. There's a chairman who absolutely adores him, so he knows he's got the backing. It's a comfortable environment for him, and it gives him all the ingredients for things to work out. It would be interesting to see if he does go somewhere else. If he goes to England or if he goes to Italy, whether he can adapt to a new challenge, a whole different challenge. That's what we would have to see. That's why I don't think we can really sort of gauge the quality of Zidane as a manager overall until we see him in a new, fresh challenge. But it would definitely be interesting to see. And what I do think is that he is someone that's always going to have the respect of a dressing room, because he was such a legendary player that everyone's always going to respect him. And I think that's something that really helps him out as well.
All right. Let's talk about the fans a little. Zinedine Zidane told the fans, please celebrate at home. We already see pictures of fans in the streets, beating the drums, loud noises, chants, and all that. Do you think the fans will take it easy because of COVID-19, or you expect them to come all out and celebrate?
Well, that's been an issue all week here in Spain. The club issued a statement asking or urging the fans not to come out and celebrate, asking them to be responsible. The government has also been bringing out these statements. To an extent, yes, that sort of died down the celebrations in the streets, but I don't think it's going to be possible to stop everyone from celebrating. One, because the way we are in Spain, the Latino character is very sort of fiery, bubbly, and we like going out and celebrating and being on the streets, and that's always going to be very difficult to sort of quieten down. But obviously, it's not going to be the same as if there wasn't any COVID. As Spain and Madrid particularly has been struck pretty hard by COVID-19. So people have tried to be responsible. We saw images of Cibeles, which is the statue where they always go and celebrate. Normally, that's absolutely jam-packed. And yesterday, it was quite empty. So the authorities and the club have done everything possible to ensure that everyone's responsible and doesn't come out, in mass to celebrate.
Well, talking about responsibility, we saw pictures of just some few people gathering in groups, and you saw policemen, with them trying to not allow the whole celebrations, go to something else that they really can't control. It seems it was under control. But later in the day, that's what we wouldn't know, because the fans we're going to listen to says this happened at about 4 a.m., earlier as of this morning and all. But then later in the day, you may not be able to control what will happen. Let's just listen to these fans and we'll come back to you.
Oh my God, there's a huge difference. I mean, usually you would see like people everywhere with all ages, like young, old, even children, like screaming, and we'll be celebrating here until, I don't know, 4 a.m. in the morning. It's a little bit sad, but it's understandable. And no matter what, I mean, you can still see people here tonight, so it's good eventually. Yeah.
The night is unique to me. It's the first time I celebrate here on the street, and I feel great. It's a magical evening. A la Madrid.
Real Madrid feeling a magical evening, but later in the day, we really can't predict what will happen. We'll wait to see what's going to happen because Liverpool, when they won the title that night, we saw fans actually coming out. Now, Bruno, Real Madrid, they've done a good job. They've won their 34th league title. Now, the Champions League is there. We know how good Zinedine Zidane is when it comes to winning the Champions League. It's more like an expert in that field. Do you see them overturning the deficit they have against Manchester City to go ahead and win the title this time around?
Well, they've certainly got a mountain to climb there. They've got a lot of work to do because, of course, they lost at home. They need to go to Manchester, get a result against Manchester City, who seem to have ended the season quite strongly as well in the Premier League. Ever since the title was claimed by Liverpool, instead of just seeing out the season, we're seeing them, smash opponent after opponent. So they've got a tough rival in front of them. They need to turn around the result there. I would say that I think it's perhaps too much to ask of Real Madrid to turn that game around, but it's such a massive risk predicting anything against Real Madrid in the Champions League lately. You're going to be made to look like a fool. So I don't want to go out 100% and say Real Madrid will not turn around that game, but I would say that I'd feel maybe more towards Manchester City being clear favourites to going through to the next round.
All right, Bruno, let's talk about the other side. The guys that threw away the title because at some point we thought they were going to win. Let's talk about Barcelona a little. And do you think the hangover of everything, we listened to some of the comments from Lionel Messi yesterday, wasn't good, criticized the team, fell short of criticizing the manager as well, but he appears not to be pleased. Do you think they'll carry this hangover into the Champions League, or they can be able to just forget about this and concentrate on the Champions League?
I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be difficult for them to leave behind what the end of this season has been. I don't think they can just click their fingers and start playing. Because as I say, there are real problems in that football, in that Barcelona side. That there are structural problems. It's a team that just isn't working. The energy levels aren't there. There's a lot of veteran players who, again, have won it all and perhaps are lacking the hunger and desire that they had 5 or 10 years ago. And you can see Luis Suarez a couple of games ago after the game also talked out, criticising the manager, really, for their performances away from home. Messi yesterday didn't mince his words at all. He said that the team is his words were, it's a weak team and that right now, if they play like that, it's going to be impossible for them to get anything done in the Champions League. It's a difficult question because when you look at the players, you always think a team that's got Messi is always going to have an opportunity, is always going to have a chance to beat anyone in the world because he is the best player in the world. But as I say, there are just problems there. There are so many weaknesses in that team that it just needs such an inspired Messi. You're asking so much of Messi. He just needs to be absolutely on top of his game that it's not always going to happen. I don't feel like they can go deep in the Champions League. I think things need to change so much, and I just don't think they believe in their manager. They don't believe in Quique Setién, and as long as he's there, I can't see this team functioning.
Those are the changes you actually want them to make because Messi alluded to it that if changes are not made, they will not be able to beat Napoli. Should the coach leave? Should the players be changed? Or should Messi even leave Barcelona?
I don't think from now until the start of the Champions League, it's such a small gap. I'm not too sure whether changing a manager would be a wise choice or who can bring in or how much work that new manager that comes in can get done before the start of the Champions League. I think it's on the players. It's on the players, to put their differences to one side. Maybe they don't believe in what the manager's doing, but they need to think some of them are towards the end of their career. They're not going to have too many more chances, for silverware, for a Champions League. And, the quality is there. And they need to see that, if they pick themselves up and then they really give it a go. Obviously, when you've got a Messi, a Suarez, Busquets, De Jong, Piqué, Ter Stegen, you've got players there who can win this tournament, who can beat any team in the world. So I think it's the players who really need to turn things around because they are top quality players, but for some reason, things aren't working.
So the last question I ask is, should Messi leave Barcelona? Because he's been carrying the team for a long time.
Well, I think only Messi can answer that question, but I don't see where he can go. Leaving Barcelona in Europe, I don't see where else he can go. It's a club that's given him so much. It gave him that boost when he was, 13, 14 years old. They've given him everything he has, and he probably feels like he needs to pay them back in some sense. I think he should see out his career, or at least his European career in Barcelona. We all know that he would like to end one day in Argentina with Newell's Old Boys, which is the club that he's always supported. I don't think he'll leave either. I think that's always a game of pressure when the rumors start coming out that Messi might leave the club. That's pressure on the chairman, because the fans are going to say, hey, are you going to give the opportunity of this guy leaving the club? You can leave that door open, and we're not going to vote for you. We're going to vote for whoever else comes in, to the elections. So Messi's got that power. He's got so much power at the club that he knows that he can play these sort of games of saying, I might leave, because everyone's going to bow down and say, oh, we'll do whatever you want. Just stay with us. We're going to make sure you stay at Barcelona. So I think it would be nice to see him, another 2-3 years still at Barca. I think he's still got a lot of football to offer. And, it's nice for us in La Liga to have him close by and witness him play week in, week out.
All right. Thank you so much, Bruno, for talking to us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right.
Right?
Okay, so Messi should just remain at Barcelona. Let's leave it. That's what it is.
But very interesting discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Interesting. It's hard to call. I don't know what's going to happen in the Champions League, but I think they should be able to take their head off whatever happened in La Liga and focus on the Champions League.
Okay.
Okay, so let's leave Spain now and go to England, and let's look at what happened yesterday. No surprises, really. Let's take a look at the results. Some decisions didn't go the way some managers wanted. We'll talk about that later on. But first, let's take a look at the results. You had just when Aston Villa thought they have won that game, Everton pops up with an equalizer. Leicester did business. I like the way they went about it. 2-0 victory over Sheffield United. Crystal Palace losing at home to Manchester United. I thought the goal that was chopped off looked like a goal to me, but I'm not VAR, so I don't know. So,
He always look like
I don't know. It's confused. That Southampton and Brighton played a 1-1 draw. Interesting results in that one. All the teams we expected to win won their games, and now it means that the last two games will be interesting.
very interesting. I expected Southampton to win. They didn't win.
Okay.
That's the difference. Because, I mean, how do you take 4 points off the Manchester clubs? At St. Mary's, you beat Man City by a lone goal, and you went to Old Trafford, collected the point from them, making 4, and you're facing Brighton, and it's a draw. So I actually expected them to win that, but they couldn't win it. But then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been reacting to the game. Dr. Rashford, okay, he's not a doctor, and Anthony Martial were the guys that gave him those 2 goals. And of course, he's obviously a happy man. But Champions League sports, still very dicey. Welcome back. Okay, let's just take the FA Cup out of the way. We talked about it earlier. Some games for this weekend. Chelsea and Manchester United will be in action. And of course, you also have Arsenal and Manchester City, the 4 big clubs. Those were the usual. No, Man City.
You just take out City and put Liverpool. That's what we used to.
The traditional top 4. But Man City, got into it. At the time Man City got into it, Liverpool were in limbo. They were trying to find their feet until they finally found it.
Yeah.
And they're back in it. Arsenal, Man City is on Saturday.
Yep.
And the game on Sunday will be Chelsea and Manchester United. And everyone has been saying United should prioritize the top 4 rather than prioritizing the FA Cup. But if you see what have happened this season, they've been beating Chelsea.
Yeah.
So why not just take advantage if you can still beat Chelsea again? But they're meeting, what are they going to meet in the final? Man City or Arsenal? But I think it's going to be Manchester City. Sorry about that, but that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the Chelsea United game will be interesting to watch. For the City and Arsenal, we might just see another one-sided game.
One-sided.
I'm not putting it past City to
Arsenal
win
actually
the game
beat Liverpool.
convincingly.
Is it because everyone is saying Liverpool were on holiday?
Yeah,
on
the celebration hangovers there. So
it's still there.
it's
So
still
that's
there.
that's
So,
not really like you can't
nah, you
say
can't rate them on that.
on
and
that
say,
victory over Liverpool.
No. I think we're going
How
to
are the
see
mighty fallen?
City. They're hurting right now. Let's face facts. They know they've lost the title. They know they are better than this, and I'm very sure the remaining games they have this season, they're going to play.
That was what we said when we were facing Southampton. On the Southampton shocked them, 1-0.
And sometimes you slip. Sometimes you slip up.
So they're not going to slip up tomorrow.
I don't think so. I don't think
Let's
so.
slip it up. Okay.
I don't think so.
With Ryan Sterling scoring hat-tricks and loving
Yeah.
to score goals these days. So there's a whole lot. Okay, now let's come home and quickly talk about this issues we've been talking about since last year. Coach Thomas Dennerby actually left Nigeria in August 2019. In August, it's almost a year now since he left the country unceremoniously. And in September, okay, and everyone said, okay, he's left the Super Falcons. And the president of Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, has been talking about, getting the girls a new coach. But just yesterday, he had Instagram live chat with the federation media, board of the federation and all that, the media department of the federation, where he said, look, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, the Falcons are going to get a new coach. So 2 to 3 weeks, that makes in August, they will get a new coach. And as he has been saying, he's going to give them, a world-class coach. That's what he says he's going to give the girls. And also, in January, once the FIFA windows opens, they will start playing international friendlies. And that's what the girls have been talking about. Sisato Shola, Francesca Odega, Ngozi Okobi, right on this show, they've been talking about the fact that, look, they want to be playing games. Now, with CAF cancelling, Alcon in 2020, and it's not going to be holding in 2021. They're introducing the Champions League. Champions League, of course, is for girls playing at home. What about the foreign players? How do they get together? And Amaju feels the only way they can get together is international friendlies. But first, you have to get the coach, and then they start organizing international friendlies from January. That's a good call if it happens.
It's a good call if it happens. But I'm looking at it from another perspective. I'm thinking with all that's happened with COVID, it was an opportunity to reset. So let's not go about doing things the same way we've been doing. This is, like you said, this is a decision that's long overdue. And that's why we're happy that we are hearing that something is going to be done about it. But I'm expecting more. I'm expecting that all of this time that we're sitting down doing nothing, we look at how we can make wholesome changes to our football, not just for the guys, for the ladies as well, if we are really serious about changing things. But some of the vibes I'm getting and some of the information being, bandied about, it looks like we just want to do the same things that we're used to. And that might not be so good. For the girls, I'm happy to get a new coach, but after that, what happens?
Yeah, after that, international friendlies, as we talked about, so they're obviously going to be busy.
I know.
And
I
it's
get
not
your
just for
point.
them, it's also going to have the under 17, the under 20. So they're going to put up a team. And of course, the money is not going to be like, you're not going to start looking for it because, he talked about the $762,000 that FIFA, gave to the girls, 30%
That's what I'm saying.
for the
I'm looking
girls,
for-
and the other percentage for,
I'm
paying
looking for
coaches.
homemade solutions, tailor-made situations to our unique situations. You're always going to sort out your national team issues. I know that.
Okay, you're
I'm
looking at what
expecting
is
that
at home.
you
Okay,
do some things about what's going on here. There'll be projections for the future. Those are the things I love to
Some of
hear.
the projections he talked about was the fact that the funding he has talked about, they're expecting about $1 million from CAF, 500,000 from FIFA, and of course expecting money from their sponsors, what they can give. They're going to put all the money together, and once they do that, that's when they can know how much they're going to give to each of the clubs, in Nigeria. Of course, it's going to cut across. He has said it before. It's going to cut across from the women's team, the men's team. Everyone is going to benefit from what they're going to do. But then they can't just say this is how much we want to to give to these clubs when we don't really have all the money. They want to have all the money at hand and know how much they want to give to the various clubs. So these are the projections he has actually made. You asked me about the projections. I monitored the Instagram live and he talked about a whole lot of these issues, how they want to disburse the money and all. So in 2 weeks, we should be able to,
there's a
know
popular
what
phrase we have in Nigeria, sit down, look. So I'll put my hands and I'll look.
looking.
All right, let's move on on the show. Take a look at the papers now and see what's happening. And let's have a complete sports.
Okay. Yeah, complete sports. Here you have Napoli, Osimhen deal is complicated. Okay, as negotiations starts all over again, Lille says it's a shame we are selling Osimhen as
Which shows
GM
that they have
confirmed striker
resigned to
will join
fate.
Napoli. Yeah, I think, okay, let me talk like an outsider now. What I think is Osimhen maybe wasn't really interested in joining Napoli. And of course, the club, Lille has seen that money is coming. I mean, just like they did to Pepe and all that, going to Arsenal. There's so much money coming for this guy and all that. Why not let him go?
Take
and
advantage.
take advantage of it. And maybe other clubs that he may be interested in are not putting as much money as Napoli is giving. And of course, the clubs want the money. They don't want to, they love him. They want him to stay. I mean, they declared 7/7. July 7th was, they called it a International Osimhen's Day. That's how, how much love they have for this boy. Value they placed on him, but then they need the money, and of course Napoli. I mean, if you're going to work under the general Gattuso, I mean, you're working, with one of the best, players and now a coach, in the world and all that. So I think that's where the situation is now. Starting negotiation all over again. This is where I don't get it.
I don't as well, because we've said a lot about this Napoli deal.
Yeah.
But we got to,
Just want it to end.
Sit down, cross our legs, and just see what happens. But I know that he will move.
He will move to Napoli. Yeah. Because the story we're also hearing from his side is that he has actually sacked his agent. Okay. It's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot. Yeah. We'll press for time. Next paper.
Okay, next one is a Sporting Sun. Okay. All right, it's still all about Osimhen. Until he signs, we're going to be having this headline. The fresh negotiations, Nigerian striker changes agent. It's done deal, lead chief insists. We're waiting, and Manchester United to pay £109 million for Sancho. £1 million for Sancho. Okay,
right.
Inter Milan to replace Conte with Diego Simeone. I didn't see this coming.
Okay. All right. It's getting towards that time of the season where you hear all of these stories
Big money.
Moving around. Okay, so let's move on to the last paper for review, and that's Sporting Live. And let's see what we have on Sporting Live. You have FIFA Money. That's on the bottom strip. FIFA Money, Ghana FA Showcase Transparency. That's according to Sporting Live on the front page, Friday edition. Says Ghana FA Showcase Transparency after distributing COVID-19 relief funds among clubs, NFF, still undecided. That story is on page 6. There are also other interesting stories about Osimhen, Ndidi, and a whole lot. But that's how we have to wrap it up with the papers. Let's see if we can squeeze in time for a tweet or two.
Okay, Ed Scott says, tell Man United fans BRO will not help Man U in Champions League. English FA is doing everything to push Man United into top 4. Remember, Bayern Munich is there waiting for them. And he also went for that to say that Bruno is wrong, Bruno is making wrong subjects about Zidane, not in the same class as Pep and Klopp because he's part of Madrid. Lionel Messi is not... okay, I don't know what he said there. That was just good. Okay, I know. Okay. Chelsea will win on penalty. Okay, that's what Eusebio Jonathan is saying this morning, but we just have to go.
All right, gotta go. Thank you for your tweets. Thank you for being a part of the show. We do appreciate it. And of course, this is last edition for the week, but we'll be back again next week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Over now.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a good weekend.